I truly believe that every realtor should watch this video if you actually want to build wealth using the very product that we sell, which is real estate, buying properties. You see, when I got into the business about 4 years ago, I got licensed as a realtor. And I got into the business thinking that I was going to live this amazing life, right? I was going to be my own boss. I could finally have my own schedule, very flexible, right? And a couple months into it, what I realized is that instead of me being my own boss, now I was running around chasing commission checks, and every client now became my boss, right? I was having to work around their schedule. Oh, you can meet at this property at this time? Fine, have to move this property around to meet at that time. And it became quickly very, very draining. I got into the business to learn the foundational process of how real estate works in order to actually build wealth, my own wealth, through real estate and invest in it. None of my family members had invested in real estate. And so I was trying to leverage being a realtor to learn the game. The problem is that, and you might already know this as well, when we're getting licensed and even being realtors in the industry, we're never taught how to actually invest in the very product that we sell, which is kind of funny. And what's crazy is that the way we market to our clients, whether it's buyers or sellers, the way we market to them is by using the phrase or the wording, buy real estate if you want to build generational wealth. At least that's how I've done it in the past. Yet we ourselves as realtors, because I myself, I'm still licensed, we don't take those words to heart and actually implement them. What's funny is that actually many realtors themselves are still renting, even though they sometimes promote that, oh, stop renting, you're wasting your money. But they themselves are renting. Just crazy. And I don't blame them, because I myself was in that same position where I didn't know how to actually do it. And most of us, we actually know only the very basic foundational process of how real estate works, which is basically helping a buyer. You get a traditional mortgage, which is a conventional or FHA mortgage, into a property, right? And we try to get them the best deal or the highest price that they're selling. And we spend our time basically just chasing those commission checks. What most people don't realize is that the moment you stop getting those clients, those commissions checks also stop. And so our income stops. And what do we do after that? Are we actually building an asset in a machine, or investing into a machine that down the road, we don't have to continue opening doors for clients? There's a phrase that is used when we're getting licensed that we have a fiduciary duty to our clients. And I completely agree. We absolutely do. But what if we start seeing that phrase and implementing it into our own life? What if we start treating ourselves as a client? In that case, that means that we have a fiduciary duty to ourselves to invest and to build real wealth for our future. I have a couple things that will definitely help you as a realtor, that has tremendous help in my life, from not just seeing myself as just a realtor, but how I can start transitioning and start changing that mindset into becoming an investor into real estate. And you yourself know this as being a realtor. There's tremendous power behind real estate. And if we leverage it properly, we can, in fact, build tremendous wealth. So there's 3 points that I really want to drive home today. And the first one's going to be, start looking at every deal as an investor. Now, let me be very clear. As realtors, we don't know how to analyze deals from an investment standpoint. We do have a basic understanding of how to help our clients essentially get a good deal when buying a property, and how they can get it under market value, which is a great skill to have. And that's above average of what the average person knows, right? So how do we take that and level it up? Even just the very simple act of starting to think like an investor and how to analyze a property in a different way, rather than just, how can I just buy this? How can I buy this not just as a home, but as an investment property? What that does inside our minds is that gears start turning a different way. What if I buy this as an investment, maybe as a rental, maybe as a fix and flip, if it's a cosmetic fixer upper? We start turning those gears in our mind, and that gets the ball rolling. Versus if we just, walk into a property, whether it's a distressed property or a seller that calls us, and we're thinking, oh, maybe I can list this property, make a good commission check, 3% or whatever that is, right? Or if I can get a buyer for it, maybe I can get a nice commission check there. If we're just continuing to chase those commission checks, once again, we'll never take that leap into that other side, which is building that long-term wealth. So instead, I want you to start changing that perspective, that mindset, and asking yourself, how can I buy this? If I were to buy this as a fix and flip, how would I might make this work? If I could hold this as a rental, could I even get a nice market rate to rent this place out? And if it's not in a traditional way that we finance it, right? Because I know that that's a big thing there of, okay, I could probably buy this as an investment, but how would I even finance it? Maybe because I'm self-employed, I might not qualify for the traditional financing, right? Like an FHA or conventional loan. But there's a whole other world, if you haven't realized already, that there's creative financing that I personally used to buy and acquire properties. When you get very creative in structuring a deal, it doesn't just come down to price for a seller. Sometimes it actually terms. In the terms, you can truly negotiate to play out in your favor. So one of the examples I want to give you is this. Let's say you walk into the property and there's a homeowner that wants to potentially sell. It's a distressed property. It needs some work, maybe some cosmetic work, you could say. And you're thinking in your head, okay, I'm here for listing appointment and I'm going to list it, maybe make a commission of $8,000, $20,000, whatever that price point is, right? Obviously, it depends on that. But would you rather take that option and make a nice commission check? Or what if instead you start thinking like an investor and you say, okay, what if I buy this property off market because you have already that direct connection with that homeowner? And you tell yourself, what if I actually flip this property? And in the process, you're able to flip it for a profit of $50,000 as an example. But not only that, if you decide to represent yourself on the deal on the back end when you sell it, you have the biggest advantage there because not only did you make a big commission check, right, when you sell it, on top of that, you're also making the profit. So you can build an entire business model off of this, off of just one deal versus just listing property, making a simple, small commission check. It's the same property, different mindset, right? And a bigger opportunity. So I want to start making you think bigger, not just, okay, how can I sell this property to this client or sell this property for the client? There's a lot more opportunity if we start thinking like an investor. And something that I've learned personally is that the best investors don't just look at a deal one way. They analyze multiple options. So the fix and flip was just one of them, right? But you can also see it if it's, once again, the distressed property. What if you actually buy it as a rental? Would it make sense even as a rental? Or, like I said before, using and structuring a deal using creative financing. Maybe if the owner owns it outright, so that meaning they don't have a mortgage on the property anymore, now you can make them become the lender essentially. So now you make payments to them, they become the bank, they finance it to you, and you can get very creative on the terms, possibly even get a better interest rate. And there's so many opportunities that come about just from structuring a very creative deal. Probably one of the greatest skills you can, aside from maybe analyzing deals, of course, but one of the greatest skills that you can have in real estate, probably in life in general and in business, is truly being able to have the creative mind, to have that creativity to structure a deal that somebody else might come in and just, look at it a simple way. I can buy this using a conventional mortgage. It's just like a linear way of thinking versus thinking outside the box, right? Thinking creatively. When you think creatively, you open up a lot more opportunities and a lot more options for you as an investor, which leads us into the second point that I want to make. Leverage what you already have. I mean, unless you're just starting off as a realtor, but if you're already a couple years into being a realtor, real estate agent, chances are you already have some information, some knowledge. For example, you already have market knowledge depending on which market you're working. in, right? You already have a great amount of connections already, possibly, whether that's title companies, escrow officers, contractors, handyman, lenders that you probably work with. You have a lot of these connections already built by being just in the industry. What's crazy is that I often hear a lot of limiting beliefs from other realtors. Things like, I don't have any experience investing in real estate. Another thing that people hear or that I hear is, I need more money. That's probably one of the biggest ones, that I need more money to invest, just to start investing in real estate. But I can tell you, there's so many, once again, creative strategies, ways to finance a property. And the last one is, I don't have the right connections or the right team. And these are all, I think, limiting beliefs. Like I mentioned, if you already are in the business, as far as being a real estate agent, a realtor, you have already built those connections. And if not, you're going to build those connections eventually, because just by being in the industry, you're working with a client, they're going to need an inspector, they're going to need an escrow officer, they're going to need a lender if they're using financing. You're building those connections already just by doing real estate. The other thing you have access to as well is off-market deals. You might already have, maybe within your brokerage or other realtors that you might already have connections with. Chances are you have access to off-market deals. And I can tell you that off-market deals are probably the greatest kind of deals. Once you're on the MLS, once they hit the market, there's still some deals sometimes to be made, but the majority are made off-market. The last one is negotiation skills. And I'll be honest, not every realtor, at least to begin with, has the greatest negotiation skills. You kind of build those, and we all start from zero, right? But as you get more deals under your belt, helping buyers and sellers, you start sharpening those skills into being a better negotiator. And having, if you pair those two things together, one, negotiation skills with creativity, trust me, you can make some very lucrative, insane deals happen in your favor. So here's a couple things you can do to leverage kind of your network, that knowledge you already have, those skills, into turning those into deals. One, like I mentioned, your network. If you already have a network in place, leverage those and start telling them, like, hey, now it's really about opening your mouth and telling people what you want. I remember for myself, the second I started posting about it on social media, or even telling people when I came across them, hey, I'm actively buying real estate to fix and flip, right? What's crazy is that people started turning to me and sending me deals just by me opening up my mouth. Closed mouths don't get fed. And that there's so much truth in that. You have to tell people what you want. It's crazy. I know it sounds very simple, but it works. And last one, like I mentioned already, creative financing. You can leverage those creative negotiation skills in your favor to structure a very creative deal. So this brings us now to the third and final point that I want to make, that's really gonna drive this idea, this point home. From the money that we get, I mean, you're probably still gonna be a realtor and doing those deals, those commission. How do we now leverage that money that we receive and actually convert it into building wealth? Sometimes, and myself included, in the beginning, we fall into this realtor trap, as they call it. We get so stuck in the transactional agent side of thinking. Once the deal is done, as far as selling the property to your client or helping them sell a property, that deal is done. But now you're back to zero after that transaction is finished. Now you have to get another client and do the whole process all over again. So how do we build an asset, a machine that's now going to build our wealth and pay us forever? Because I think that's the ultimate goal that a lot of us are actually trying to build but don't know how. So I have a couple points for you. The first one is using our active income to buy passive income. Now, let me be clear with this. I personally don't think that there's anything passive about real estate. There's some level of activity that you have to do to get that income, but let's just for now call it passive income, right? So every time you close a deal, set aside a percentage, or if you're crazy like me, the whole thing, put it into an investment deal. Let's say you sell 10, 15, 20 homes during the year, and maybe at the end of the year, use that money collected or a percentage of it towards an investment deal, a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex, whatever that is, and start putting it towards the very thing that we sell that can actually help us build long-term wealth. Another great strategy that people often overlook, and it's funny because I think as realtors, we often promote it, yet we don't ourselves take advantage of it, which is house hacking. And I see a lot of this on social media. House hacking is one of the best ways to, get into your first investment property. It actually is. I mean, it's really one of the greatest ways that you can leverage into getting either into a house, into a duplex, a fourplex, a multifamily unit property. It's a great way. You live in one unit and rent out the other ones. And you only have to do it essentially for 1 year, according to the guidelines on the financing side, right? After that, you can move back with your parents to another house, whatever you want to do. But for 1 year, you move in, you live there. After that, you fill that unit that you were living in, and then you have a fully rented out property that's generating you income. The last method is the BRRRR method, which a lot of people, and quite honestly, a lot of realtors don't even know about, but they probably have heard the term, the BRRRR method, which is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and then you repeat the process. And this is one of the greatest ways. It's a combination of both buying a rental property and fixing and flipping, with the only exception of you're basically not selling it at the end. You keep it. But in the process, in the process, you essentially take out the money that you invested into the property, because you're able to pull out, I believe, up to 75% of the now new ARV, and you take that money back and put it into another deal. It's a very lucrative, creative way to finance a property and to essentially have no money out of pocket into the deal. And you can repeat this multiple times. And of course, there is some level of skill, knowledge that you have to have in order to do it. But if you can understand that, you are a savvy real estate investor. If you can understand some of these simple ways, and you don't have to go all crazy into like the high-end, real estate deals, these multi-unit properties, 50-unit. If you just keep it simple, you can build incredible wealth. And my favorite way of seeing it is reverse engineering the goal. Let's say you wanted to achieve and getting up to $20,000 a month in passive income for yourself, to build wealth and to basically retire. Okay, so $20,000 a month. How many properties would you need to buy in order to get to that goal? And let's say that each unit is going to generate or pay you $2,000 a month. So $2,000 a month per unit that you receive from them. You would need to get about 10 properties or 10 units to pay you $2,000 a month in order to get to that $20,000 a month goal. If you now look at it, it's actually not that many properties or not that many units, because 10 properties versus 10 units are two different things. You can get 2 fourplexes and 1 duplex. Now you're at 10 properties. When you know what you're looking for, you'll find it. When you know what your goal is, you'll get to it. It's just about simplifying the process. And right now you're probably thinking, this is all great, Roberto, what you're talking about, but the truth is, I don't have any money. Right? I can't invest in property because I don't have enough money. You also might say, I don't know where to start. I'm a realtor, but I don't have any knowledge about how to analyze a deal properly, where to find the best deals. Or you might say, I need to find some time to actually learn the investment game. I have to read certain books and listen to these kind of videos. I can truly say that a lot of those things are just excuses. And I say that because I myself was in that same position. I thought I had to read every single investment book to make the first decision and the first step into my first deal. What I very quickly realized is that I learned far more, and got way more experience out of doing my first deal than any book, any podcast, any video would have ever taught me. And I can tell you that with full confidence because I gained tremendous knowledge. And now it brings us to today, where I've done countless deals and I continue to learn every single day. I myself, I'm still in the industry, one as a realtor, but primarily as an investor. I'm not just some person that just tells people, hey, go and do this thing, go invest into this thing. No, I myself, I'm still in the trenches. I'm still building my own wealth. And I'm extremely passionate behind this industry because it has truly changed my life. And I want to share that knowledge now with others, specifically with realtors, because I know how frustrating it can seem when you're just chasing that next commission. And so if you want to learn that investment game and want to get to actually building wealth, then I put a link down below to schedule a call with me if you want to actually take action. If you want to actually learn an investment game, click the link below and schedule a call with me and see if my coaching program is the right fit for you. I'm truly passionate about this. And if I can help more people do this, that for me is my mission. And of course, not everybody's ready for that. If you want to continue learning about this investment game, I have plenty of videos that you can learn from, especially this next video that you can definitely watch and listen to my own strategy and how I'm personally doing it. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video and future videos to come. You get one life, so make it count. Peace.